Stay tuned for what's going on in TLRY, in volatility, and let's find out why all these people seem to be mad at me for the trades I did yesterday in TLRY. All that and more coming up next on the Short Vol Show. Stay tuned.
Made me think I would not be burned, but I'd rather give myself to science. I felt that I could help. In science, I felt that I could help. Paranoid, the doctor ran.
All right, welcome back to the Short Vol Show, folks, and thanks for watching today. See how I did that? That's a tease. I was on YouTube, and I'm learning how to make YouTube videos now. So what you do is tease, and then you come back and give the information real quick without having a long intro and whatnot. That being said, I do want to thank my sponsor, Guerrilla Trades, who are have just been really wonderful for me, and I want you to go and check them out at guerrillatrades.com. They've got some great option and stock ideas, and the best thing about them is they produce this email once or twice a day that just really sums up everything. You don't need to go to all these different sources. You can just get their email, and it keeps you up to date exactly on what's happening with the market. Check them out at guerrillatrades.com. Just click in the link down below. The Guerrilla, Ken Berman, is basically a genius, and he started with a small amount of money and made it huge, and he realized at some point that he could actually help others, and thus Guerrilla Trades was started. And when I first got involved with them, I didn't know much about them, but as I followed them and their picks, they have just amazing picks. So check them out, and click the link, and I much appreciate it. Thanks very much. Okay, so moving forward, there's my little Guerrilla Trades logo there. Let's take a look at the major indices as we come into the market day today. And here comes my screens. So TLRY yesterday, after the close, had a big bounce back up. And how do we play it today? Well, it's funny. Every single article out there says that TLRY is overpriced, and I sold some put spreads yesterday. I sold the October 85.75 put spread for about $450. Kind of a big trade for me. And I posted on several forums about it, and a lot of people got mad at me. And I think the reason is because every article says that this is going down, and all these valuations say that TLRY shouldn't be this price and should go lower. And you got to realize that the stock market is a popularity contest, and stuff doesn't always make sense. And people, I've had several people get mad at me lately saying that, like, oh, well, you don't know what you're doing. You obviously know what something, they'll name some esoteric technical indicator or some sort of metric for why this is going to happen. And I universally step back and say to people, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. None of us do. And people who are convinced they know what's going to happen in the future, you got to try to steer clear of those people, because one of the biggest revelations for somebody who's traded for a while that sort of gets it is that nobody knows what's going to happen. And people that won't accept that concept are going to have problems trading. Some people are convinced that, okay, well, the PE ratio, if a PE ratio is X, Y, or Z, then that means that this can't happen or that can't happen. In the end, it's a popularity contest, like I said, and stuff's going to move around, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's just the way it is. So that being said, TLRY today, back up again. I essentially have a big condor on where the short parts are like the 85 to 90 strike to the downside, and then the 145 and 155 strikes on the upside. So TLRY right here around 120 would be perfect for me. I'm looking to take a little bit of this off at some point because it's bigger than I really feel comfortable with my position right now. As far as the VIX, we see a little pop back down. A little sell-off. And we have gotten the pop lately in the VIX and an opportunity to sell into it. So let's take a look at the VIX right now for a second. My screens are all funky right now. Let's see, what do I have? I have level 2 up, so let me take that down. And let me get out of the way here for a sec so we can take a look. Okay, so, by the way, this little prop I have now that's making my face look so funny. Let me show you what it is. It's one of those lights from weddings. Call it an uplight. This is what it looks like. Let's see if I can hold it up. It reminds me of that Conan O'Brien skit, in the year 2000. But that's the prop that's making my face look weird. Anyway, so the VIX did have a little pop over the last couple days, and let me pull up the screen for the just VIX right here and widen it out a little bit. So let's go to the 180-day once again. I like to get perspective, and I'm in the way once again, so let me get out of the way. And you can see, well, not that much of a pop really when you look at it this way, just up a little bit. There is so much room for, there is so much of a cushion in the term structure that we didn't really get a move up in these products with VIX popping a little bit at all. And that was kind of expected. If you've been following the term structure, it was really, basically, when the VIX came down, the futures stayed up. And so with a pop in the VIX, it just brings everything back into line pretty much. The roll yield, or the spread between spot and M1, was so wide, it was up around 250, 280, something like that, that a little pop in the VIX just brought it back into line to, like, 180, something like that. So really didn't see too much follow through on these products to the upside, and conversely, not that much of an opportunity to jump on to short it. But there already was so much, what should we call it, downside edge in these products that it made sense to short it even without the pop. So here we are in the VIX around 12, and these products back down a little bit, but I like the short here, and I do have a spread on in VXX, and in I got out of my UVXY because the liquidity just isn't there in UVXY right this second. I mean, spreads are all over the place. I wasn't even able to get in at prices I liked. I didn't even understand the pricing. I sold out of the spreads that I was long yesterday on the little pop, and I think that I was able to get out of it at a really good price. I just think there's sort of no rhyme or reason to the pricing on some of this stuff in UVXY right now. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but I prefer to be in VXX right now, where there's more liquidity and the stuff sort of makes more sense to me, and I could sort of count on the pricing being correct. So I got out of UVXY, I got into VXX, and that's where we stand right now on that particular one. So as we go into the day, let's take a look again at our major indices and futures. We see that, let's see, E-minis up 650, NASDAQ up 10, and basically another normal sort of vol fade day here. The MJ stocks, currently I'm involved with Afria and Aurora and TLRY, of which I'm basically to some extent long all of them. And we'll kind of see what happens. NBEV, I did sell some puts yesterday. The October 4 puts for $1, and I think a lot of people have gotten just killed in these issues. I think a lot of retail people, kind of what happened was a lot of retail people heard about the big rallies in the MJ sector, and they jumped on too late. They followed the returns, and I'm pretty sure NBEV is a perfect example of this. You see the big run up for a few days, and I'm sure a lot of these retail people got involved around like buying it for $5, $6, all the way up to $10, and then just got crushed. It's unfortunate, but when you follow returns, that's what happens. If you weren't already in, if you come in and a stock's like doubled in price from like 2 to 4 in one day, to jump in on that and buy it, you might be able to make a little money on that way up, but you've got to be really agile because it can very easily collapse on you, and that's what happened to a lot of people, I'm sure. NBEV traded a ton of shares yesterday, and I'm pretty sure a ton of people like bought it for $6 and sold it for $4 because just watching the price action yesterday. So be real careful if you're going to jump in on these things. I don't want to see people get chopped up. So, and buying it for 10 and then holding, thinking that maybe it'll come back, doesn't really work either. So, anyways, I sold some of these 4 puts for $1 yesterday, and I'm just gonna leave it, I guess. I feel pretty comfortable with that trade. I don't mind buying this for 3 at this point, if it gets down to there, but we'll just have to see what happens. Acorn, I sold some of the 10 puts, and I was corrected in my analysis the other day that the deal right now is before a judge, I'm told, and waiting for some decision, and that's why the vol is so high in there. But for now, I'm short the 10-7 put spread for $1, just really small, just to sort of sell out of the money puts and stuff. So that's it for now. Once again, thanks to Gorilla Trades for all your support of me, and please check them out and support my sponsor by clicking the link in the description, and I will see you in the next video, folks.